Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. Today we're doing a double review by Spinnaker. And today I have the Flus and I have the Bradner. Both GMT automatics, both very similar watches with some, I'd say, major differences. Both amazing quality watches. And I'm going to show you both these watches, go over the specifications, and give you guys all the close-up shots you're looking for under macro lens, and maybe help you decide why you would buy or choose one or the other. As always, link is in the description. As always, coupon code is in the description. And let's take a look at both of these awesome watches, again, by Spinnaker. Let me try to get this to focus here. There we go. Okay, let's do it. Okay, folks, so again, we're doing today a double unboxing or a double review. And these are two Spinnaker watches. And I chose to do these double because they are very similar watches. One is the Flus, I think I'm saying that right, and one is the Bradner GMT. These are both automatic watches done in a purple and black. And since they are the same color, I just wanted to showcase these and kind of show a little bit of the difference. There's a little bit of a size difference, not only in the actual case size, but of course in the bracelet size. So this one here is definitely a smaller variation. The Bradner GMT, I think that's right. I gotta look that up again actually. But this one here is the Flus. So I'm just gonna kind of move this one aside for a second, and I'm gonna come back to this one. We'll just kind of talk about the differences. So actually, let me bring it back. So visually, what we have here is you can see there is a bracelet difference, although they are both sort of what I would call like the grains of rice sort of bracelet, just like you'd find like on a Doxa. Very cool. It's one of my favorite bracelets. I love the way that this bracelet sort of reflects the light. It just has a very, I don't know, very elegant but very dive-ish look. And I'm probably just saying that because, Doxa, they're known for that bracelet. And prior to getting some of the homage watches by brands like Tactile Frog and some of the like Pagani making their Doxa homages, I probably would have pulled the trigger at one point on a $2,000 Doxa watch. But now that we have those amazing homage watches, I just don't see the point. I wish a Spinnaker would make their version of that, but they tend to kind of do their own thing for the most part. Just because a watch is round and has a 3-link bracelet doesn't mean it's a homage to a Submariner, right? And this is the same thing. This isn't a homage to a Doxa, but they use that style of bracelet. I'm sure lots of brands do. But you definitely have a noticeable size difference. I'd say it's probably about 2 or 3 millimeters thicker on the Flus automatic. If you are looking for a GMT, of course, you'll want to choose the GMT version of this here. I believe the Bradner. I have to go back and look. I think I just mentioned it earlier in the video, but both very cool watches. Similar bracelet, similar clasp, almost identical clasp. One is just a little bit bigger. One has an exhibition window in the back, so if you're a fan of that, of course, that might lean you towards this model. I really don't care about an exhibition window, and I honestly personally like this one more. The other main difference is that this one here has a protected inner rotating bezel. So the bezel's behind the actual crystal, which is pretty cool, pretty nice, I think, feature. But I really enjoy this glass bezel and how it's so glossy and it really stands out. I think, honestly, this is my favorite of these two watches. Although there is something to be said about having, the double function pushers or crowns, one crown, one bezel rotation knob. They're still really awesome watches no matter which one you go with. So let me just move this aside here. We'll talk about the specifications on the Flus, right? So again, this is also a GMT automatic. I think I misspoke earlier in the video here. They're both GMTs. This one has the inner rotating bezel. Again, they're very similar watches, but I think if you want, let's say you have a lot of watches that already have maybe a glass bezel or a bezel that's rotatable without a actual function knob, then I'd probably lean you towards this. But again, that size difference, it is noticeable, although you may not be able to see it too much on this video, but it is a noticeable size difference. But I wouldn't say so much that one looks small, but the bracelet I think definitely looks smaller. But again, these are very small differences. So this one is powered by the reliable NH34 by Seiko. We'll come back again to this one here, but it says here it has a two-tone bezel that adds a pop of vibrant color and easy for tracking multiple time zones. The main specifications, again, you have that Seiko reliable NH series movement, 43 millimeter case diameter. We have 13 millimeters in case thickness, although you can see it's quite, the other version is quite a bit thicker, the other model, right? Which, again, you might like if you like a taller case thickness, right? 51 millimeters lug to lug. This does have a sapphire lens, which is a checkbox for many, many folks. Screw down crown, 22 millimeter solid stainless steel bracelet with that fold over clasp and buckle. I mean, beautiful. Spinnaker watches are absolutely fantastic. They give you a lot of bang for your buck. And we have, of course, what else? Applied indexes with Swiss New Light. We're not really going to get a lume shot here, but, you know, it works fine. Bezel action, I mean, solid, no back play. Although glass bezels are definitely harder to turn, this one's pretty decent for a very smooth, kind of slippery bezel. But, you know, if that's a concern, you know I don't really use the bezel all that much, so it's not really a concern to me. But still, even though it is a slick bezel, you can still turn it. These, we'll call them like this coin edge or dime edge. I guess it's kind of a coin edge. It doesn't really give you much grip. They're kind of smooth, right? Crown action's good. I mean, there's really nothing really to complain about this watch. Spinnaker branding on the clasp, the case back, on the face, pretty standard. And what else? As far as color options, you have on this particular watch 10 different variations. There is a beautiful looking blue and white, which I could have swore I requested that. Maybe I didn't get it, but to be honest with you, I kind of forget about what watches I have in my collection, right? You know, I'm coming from a place of over 450 watches, so it's pretty hard for me to remember exactly what I have. But one thing I can tell you, if you're new to Spinnaker and let's say you discovered this channel, you discovered these videos because, you know, you're in the market for a watch, you know, a lot of times, I mentioned it many times in my reviews, you know, some folks are going to buy a watch for different reasons. Some folks are looking for spec monster watches, as they call them, where they have, you know, the check boxes I talk about. Number one, what is it made out of? 316 stainless steel. What's the crystal like? You know, what is the movement? And those are really the main ones. Everything else after that, that's like your big three for quality, right? And so whether you get a watch that costs, you know, 40 grand or you get a watch that costs $400, I think this is about $450 today, you know, there's not going to be a ton of difference. You know, you might get a difference in the movement, in maybe some of the technology in the movement, but at the end of the day, all these watches, no matter what brand you go with, they're relatively accurate, right? And they're relatively reliable and they work well. So, you know, it's up to you as far as what you want to spend your money on, not me. Now, they also have, when you look at this particular watch, let me go back to the Bradner here, okay? One thing to be noted, when you look at this watch on their website, and again, this one's called Mystic Purple, the picture really does the watch more justice, in my opinion. So, although they're both purple, this one here definitely has more of a vibrance to it. It's more of like a starburst. It's lighter in the middle, and I think it pops better. But in the picture, it almost makes it look like a magenta pink, and it's not. So it is purple. When you get it, it's not going to look as pink. And mainly, the reason I chose this one off their website, even though it says, you know, Mystic Purple, I get that it's purple, the picture makes it look a lot more magenta. And that's kind of why I chose this. Had I known this was just going to be purple, like the other watch, I just would have picked a different color. But I just want to say that because most of the time when you buy, you know, especially a watch from Spinnaker, right, or any Dartmouth brand, or many, many brands out there, usually the pictures are pretty accurate. This is one of these cases where it really isn't. So, but not, you know, not a deal breaker. I mean, if I don't know, for me, I just wanted a little bit more of that pinkish, kind of vibrant, kind of magenta. This is definitely purple, as you can see in the video. You know, about the same specifications as the other model here, the Flus, but I will read them to you nevertheless. It says here it has 42 millimeter case diameter, and honestly, you know, that 1 millimeter, it makes quite a bit of difference, and it might just be the fact that the way this is designed, where you have that color going all the way to the edge, it just makes it look like a much bigger watch. It's really not. 15 millimeter case diameter, 50 millimeters lug to lug. I do dig the case on this, how it's got kind of the separation between the back. Like the case back is actually, just to focus here, is actually down here, but it's, I don't know, it's just different how they did that. I dig it. It kind of breaks up the case. It almost looks like the case is suspended, kind of like a case and cradle, but it's not. Again, if you like an exhibition window, the Spinnaker keeps it really simple, just a black rotor on this. Get this to focus. There we go. Now, as far as the movement, checkbox, number 3, this one has the NH34. So both these watches, and most of Spinnaker watches, use the reliable NH series movements, whether it be a 36, a 35, whatever the watch may be. Again, the only difference is just that protected bezel behind the crystal and just the way that you interact with it, and of course the size a little bit, but very similar watches. Sapphire crystal, 20mm stainless steel bracelet, ATMs of water resistance. You have that fold over safety clasp with, this is just like the other one. Double push button deployant, safety clasp. Pretty straightforward there. What else? That's really about it. Screw down crown, although the function pusher, or the function knob we'll call it, it actually rotates the bezel, is not screw down. So I kind of feel like, why bother putting a screw down crown on a watch if you're going to have, a watch is only as water resistant at its weakest point. But of course, it is still ATM, does still give you 18 ATMs of water resistance. Remember, just because it's not screwed down doesn't mean you don't get that water resistance. But, there's really no set, when you turn this, it just kind of rotates. There's no set, distinction. There's no clicks, right? So, that might be a deal breaker for some, but overall, both really great watches. If you like that purple and black look, very cool. I don't know if you'd call this the Joker style. I like that they did use a little bit of green, so we can kind of call this Joker style colors, right? Kind of like how all the Rolex fanboys do to the Rolex brand. The Batmans, the Pepsis, the Cokes, and that's fine, But I do think that I would have called this grape if it didn't have that. I like that they did that neon green secondhand. I think that definitely ties that Joker color in. But again, that's your Joker fan. That might be something that's really awesome too. I think this shot right here kind of shows you that one is. You can see that this definitely makes this look, when side by side with purple, it does look more magenta. So that kind of, I guess the picture's not super accurate, but side by side to actual purple, it definitely does make it look more magenta. But anyway, pretty cool. Let's go ahead and throw these on the wrist and see what they look like. Okay, folks, so there you have it. Both beautiful watches, both very similar. Two great choices if you're looking for that Joker purple and a GMT watch. Again, as stated earlier, I am a little more particular to the which one's this one? The Flus. Not necessarily because you're getting an extra millimeter in size, but because you have that glass bezel. I think it just really adds a lot to the watch. But both awesome watches. So now this one here, just so you guys know, I haven't even sized this yet. I've had it for several months. But this will give you an idea of what it does look like on a guy my size, my height, my weight. I am 183 pounds. I am 5'8", and I have a 7-inch wrist. So, this is what it's going to look like on a guy my size, and I hope that gives you an idea of what it might look like on you if you are in the market for picking up one of these amazing watches. Love that Doxa style bracelet. So cool. All right, and I don't even know if I sized the other one yet. I don't think I did on these. Probably should have sized them before doing the video, but you guys get the idea. You guys see what they're going to look like. Some of you boys wearing your watches like this is straight from the 80s. We don't want to do that nowadays. It's still a real cool watch, too. At the end of the day, no matter which one you choose, they are very similar. But I would say for somebody who maybe already has maybe you already have one or the other, right? And you absolutely love the purple and black. I'd almost say go with a different color and add a little something different to your collection, just because they are such similar watches. And for me, I probably wouldn't be buying another, or actually requesting, depends on what they come out with. I did just request that purple and pink awesome Nubeo Maven. So just a great looking watch. My only gripe with this, I wish they would have done this watch instead of doing it in the purple, did it in a bright, shocking magenta pink. But who knows what comes down the road. I've been kind of harping on them for a while to start doing some pink variations, but we'll see if that actually comes to pass. But either way, amazing brand, amazing quality, and if you haven't picked up a Spinnaker for your collection, no matter which one you go with, do so. You'll definitely appreciate what you get for your money. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a fantastic day, and take care.